Welcome everybody, welcome back to the Aspire Penetration Tester, and hope y'all are doing great. So, today I have here the Nessus lab over at TryHackMe. So, I've done this lab yesterday sometime. So, let's get on with the video. So, Nessus is a vulnerability scanner similar to Nmap, find and report vulnerabilities, which is represented in a nice graphical user interface. So it's basically nice for the person who is using Nessus to see it, unlike Nmap. But I do prefer, well, I just started using Nessus the first time yesterday. I think I prefer Nmap slightly more because it can do a lot more, and Nmap is an open source tool, but Nessus is free partially because you have some features that you have to pay for, unlike Nmap. So that's why I actually prefer Nmap. So you can go ahead and read through this, hit the completed, and you can go over by the installation task too. So actually I've installed this from yesterday, so TryHackMe actually walks through a nice way on how you can get started using Nessus step by step. I can go ahead and just check all of this. Shows you which file to download, how to register, how to install Debian file, sudo dpkg, tag I for install, dpkg means for Debian package. As you can see, the file has a .deb, which means Debian file extension. So you can go ahead and start that. You will start unpacking Nessus, and it also shows you how to start Nessus. Yeah, so you need to start the service over at bin system ctl start nessus d.service, and you'll be able to go over to this website in your Firefox or any other web browser that you'll be using. So we will now start the Nessus service with the command. I'm just going to copy and paste that. If you're following this up, you can just follow along. I'm going to enter my sudo password. So the Nessus service has been started. So now I need to go over at where Nessus is. So for me, probably be different for you depending on what you name your Kali machine. Maybe it's named Kali by default. Who knows? So I think my local host name is Bug and AA34. So let's do that. As you can see, I ordered a Nessus, so you can go ahead and just go to that. It's already in my local database. Bear in mind that Nessus is a very large tool. Before I installed Nessus, I had about 9 or 10 gigabytes on my virtual machine, and after I finished installing it, I think I had like less than a gigabyte left back. So it's a very huge tool. So if you're going to install this, please take that into consideration that you need at least around 10 gigabytes of space. So that's a key thing to note. So I'm just going to wait while Nessus prepares the files needed to scan your assets, compiling plugins. So this might take some time, I guess. Can go ahead and hit the completed there. Next we'll set up scanner selections. Select the option Nessus Essentials. So yeah, you can continue. As I said, TryHackMe walks you step by step on how to get Nessus installed and configured properly. You can just continue. It's still loading, so Nessus will now install the required plugins for it to function. So you just want to read through and do this carefully. It's very easy step-by-step tutorial on how to do it. So I think I am at the login, so it now prompts me with my username, which I think is aspiring pen tester. If I am right, password. So yeah, as you can see, I have already 2 scans here, which I'm going to trash. I'm going to delete those so we can start doing some answering these try help me questions. So yeah, now to task 3. Wait, this one finish. Yeah, so sometimes that happens like this. Task 3. So now, what is the name of the button which is used to launch a scan? So if I were to go over back at Nessus and go to my scans, you'll see or you'll look at all of these, look at everywhere on the page. As you can see, new scan would be the button used to launch a scan basically. So I think that should be the answer. And TryHackMe is a wonderful website. You can also use the hint, which is very convenient, I could say. So what side menu option allows us to create custom templates? So you can also use a hint. Realize it's under resources. If you come over here, you can just fingerprint basically or enumerate our information gather. As you can see, policies, create custom templates. So policies allows you to create custom templates. It's obviously not plugin rules, so it's enter policies. If I can spell and see what happens. Okay, so what menu allows us to change plugin properties such as hiding them or changing their severity? So it's another option under resources. So I'm guessing that it must be plugin tools, plugin rules. Plugin rules allow you to hide or change the severity of a given plugin. In addition, rules can be limited to a specific host or a specific time frame. So I'm going to go with plugin rules for that one. Okay, in the scan templates section, after clicking on new scan, what scan allows us to see simply what hosts are available. So if I click new scan, a simple scan to discover live hosts and open ports. So I think this should be the answer, host discovered. I think it makes sense. One of the most useful scan tasks which is considered to be suitable for any host. So we can just go over back at Nessus and just read. So basic network scan, a full system scan suitable for any host. So basic network scan I think should be the right answer. Wonderful. So what scan allows you to authenticate to hosts and enumerate missing updates? So you just want to do like in multiple choice when you're doing exams, and it what you want to do is enumerate the best answers or find which answers is best suitable. So advanced scan, configure scan without using any recommendation. I don't think that this is. Configure dynamic plugin scan without recommendation. Malware scan, scan for malware on Windows and Unix systems. And this is what I'm talking about, where I prefer Nmap over Nessus because you would have to pay to get certain upgrades or certain scan types to be used to audit your network. And that's why I prefer Nmap. So yeah, we couldn't even use mobile device scan if we wanted to, unless we're fortunate enough to have money to pay for the upgrade. Web application test scans for published and known web vulnerabilities, and credentialed patched audit. Authenticate to host and enumerate missing updates. So as we can see here, this matches with missing updates from the TryHackMe. So that's credential patch update. I think it is a correct credentialed patched audit. So what scanning specifically used for scanning web applications? So as we know, we have already went through that is web application tests. So we can go ahead and we should get that answer correct, as long as we can spell properly. So now moving on to task 4, scanning. So now TryHackMe is requiring us to start a machine, run a network scan, create a new basic network scan, targeting the deployed VM. That option can we set under basic on the left. To set a time for the scan to run, this scan can be very useful when network congestion is an issue. So here's what we're going to do. We have to get our VPN from TryHackMe, which I did already. So you will want to sign up and get your configuration file. If you want me to make a video on how to access TryHackMe's network to access the labs, I can make a video on that as also. So I have it stored in my downloads folder. So if I go sudo, you would also need to download Open Vpn, which is Very simple. Just use a sudo apt install Open VPN. So I'm going to go sudo Open VPN. And as you can see, that's my configuration file, and that will now tell me that I am initialization sequence completed. So I am on the TryHackMe's network, so I can access the vulnerable lab now. So this will take a minute to show me the IP the lab is getting ready, the vulnerable virtual machine, and we can now start. So I'm going to full screen my virtual machine because I prefer it like this. So create a new basic network scan targeting the deployed virtual machine. What options can we set under basic on the left? So let's give that another 20 seconds and we will begin. So now that we know the IP address, what I always do when I'm doing, well, scans, I just like to go ahead and just test for port 80 from the beginning. So you know that, hey, port 80 is for um port HTTP, protocol HTTP, which means that they're hosting a website, which is the damn vulnerable web application, which you can download in your lab so you can test for common website vulnerabilities and improve your hacking capabilities. But for now, we can just head over back to Nessus or basic network scan. So now, what options can we set under basic on the left to set a time for the scan to run? The scan can be very useful when network congestion is an issue. So schedule schedule is on the basic. I think schedule should be the right answer because network congestion basically means that your network is not the best at the time, so you can schedule it to be another attack later. So under discovery on the left, set the scan type to cover ports 1, all ports. This is all ports that you can possibly scan on a computer. What is this type called? So let's find out. Is it here? Okay, scan type, and if I go and drop down menu, you see port scan all ports. So I think if I come back over here and go port scan all ports. Okay, I have the correct answer. So what scan type can we change under advanced for lower bandwidth connection? So you can go ahead, go on the advanced. Let's see what's here. Scan low bandwidth links. I mean, yeah, that's definitely the answer. That's quite easy. As I said, the scan in the last video, I really hope you guys will check that out. TryHackMe makes it easy for everyone to learn. I do recommend it. This video is not sponsored by TryHackMe though, but I really wished it was. Uh, I'm not not a very good speller, so I want to make sure I'm spelling it correct. With these options set, all of these, launch the scan. So we're going to launch the scan. So we have not set a name. We can set TryHackMe vuln lab and the IP address of the TryHackMe lab, which I can copy from right here and paste here. Now we can start the scan. So this is going to go ahead and scan the host. This might take some time. This says invalid target, so I guess I have to scan this. Let's say I delete this. So that's a thing that happens. So I think this kid, I should set this to all ports. Go to advanced, go to set, and I should scan this. Let's check if I did that correctly. So yeah. Damn stupid. Oh, I never really closed it, so yeah. So this will take a minute to finish scanning. So we can go ahead and poke at what we're seeing so far. And as I said earlier, that port 80 is open. Yes, because I actually tested. If there wasn't a website, then this page wouldn't be loading, and Nessus actually confirms that yes, it is at port 80 that is hosting a website, but we can tell that it was hosting a website by just entering the IP address in the URL. So that's a thing that you can also try when scanning actual web applications. So now we would have to wait until this has finished. What I'll do, I'll pause the video and I'll come back here once the scanner is finished, because this might take some time. So back on it, so the scan has finished. So once the scan has finished, we can go back over by TryHackMe and find out what's. So after the scan completes, which vulnerability in the port scanner, family can view the details of to see the open ports on the host. So we need to find which of these, which I think is the Nessus SYN scan, because SYN meaning synchronize, as you know in the three-way handshake, SYN ACK and ACK. So if you want me to do a video on that also, I will do it. But Nessus SYN scanner also gives us a brief description, and as you can see, port 80 is open. So I think this should be the answer, Nessus SYN scanner. So I'm just going to enter that and see what happens. I think this should be the answer. So yeah, great. So we need to find out the Apache HTTP server version, which is reported by Nessus in Nessus scan. So if I now go back to vulnerabilities and I look around, um, maybe it's a service detection or OS identification. I'm not sure, but it's information gathering, guys. We need to find out what we're trying to do. So while we're doing what we do, we just read along. I mean, most people probably think that hacking is just boom, I'm in, like the movies. Hacking is actually an art of information gathering and finding out information on a system. So, well, that is what you're going to be doing for most of your time. So, I don't think it's always identification or Apache HTTP server version. I don't know how I never saw that. That's what happens when you're doing this kind of stuff. So the version there is 2.4.99. So we can just enter that and we can now submit. And I think that should be the right answer. So yeah. Wonderful, we got the correct answer. So now we're going to move on to task 5, which is run a web application scan on the virtual machine. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go over to Nessus. So we're going to launch another scan on this vulnerable host. I mean, again, I do recommend TryHackMe because it makes hacking simplified to a lot of people, especially me. So what I'll do, I'll just enter a name suitable for the scan and also a description, maybe, and targets. So now we can start off by doing our new scan on the web application. So we hit launch and now we will start. So actually this will take some time and I may have to pause the video again and come back another time, but I recommend not to be scanning random hosts because it is classed as illegal to scan hosts that are not you are not um permission to scan, it's not in your environment, meaning that you own it, so you are the person who gives permission to scan in these environment that you have in your network. So if you want to get onto the real world in bug hunting, I recommend HackerOne, BugCrowd, Integrity. There are probably plenty of others out there, but I recommend those where you can start doing bug hunting and where you can start your bug hunting journey so that you can find vulnerabilities on various websites, namely maybe Amazon, maybe Shopify, or any other website out there. Maybe even YouTube is on there. So that is a great, those are great websites. So you can practice on actual web applications, trying to hack them, reporting your vulnerabilities so that you can get paid in for your report. So there's a little bit of downfalls about it though, because finding bugs are kinda hard, especially in 2021, but I wouldn't say exactly hard as long as you know a programming language, namely JavaScript, that is run on like almost every website. Well, I believe like 99% of websites are run by even just a little bit of JavaScript. So it's a good programming language to learn. Also Python, and knowing the basis of how applications are made. So I'll be back when the scan is finished. So the scan is not 99%, but I think I probably have done a lot in this video, and this video is kind of lengthy, unfortunately. But that is it just finished. So um, as I was saying, is that while I started hacking about um since around last year. Well, the thing about me is that I went to a lot of information gathering for a year, then I started hacking practically. Because the thing about it, I like to know what I'm getting myself into. The next thing about it is that I made these videos so lengthy so that I can explain a lot what I think other persons did not clearly explain to me while I started hacking, and I had a lot of questions about as well. So that's a thing to note. So please bear with me, guys. So as you can see, the Nessus scanners show us a lot of information, some critical, some high, some medium, some low, some are just information. So, and we're going to go over back at TryHackMe, and what is the plugin ID of the plugin that determines the HTTP server type and version. So another cool thing that we can do with Nessus is that we can just come here and just search and hit enter. Let's see if it's one. Oh, it's the ID. So let's copy the ID and see if that's correct. That's not correct. Let's use the hint. Found on the right after clicking HTTP server and version. So let's go back to that. Why can't I find it? HTTP server and version. Um, mm, I think that we should scan for this. Yeah, we should definitely scan for this because I don't want to make this video too lengthy. I don't know why this is not working, but let's try. Something else. Okay, it's here. It must be ID and this ID. So as you can see, HTTP server type and version. You can go ahead and just enter that, and it should be correct. So what authentication page is discovered by a scanner that transmit credentials in clear text? So let's scan, because if we don't try this, well, hacking is all about testing what can be done. So it's worth to try anything while you're hacking. You might find something that you never expected to find. Uh, So it's not that, but I believe that it's one of these because, or maybe it's not. So let's see. One of these definitely. That's what they asked for. Oh, which authentication page is discovered by the scanner? You want to find clear text. It's somewhere on this though. It's basically saying if a password is inputted, a username and a password is inputted into a login form, then it is seen easily if someone is using Wireshark to view what is passing around the network. So it's something. That's something else. So here it is. So here's what they're saying that on here. Potential parameters for yes. So this is the direction that basically on the website, if someone was using Wireshark, you could be able to sniff the network and see what credentials are flowing from and to a website, so you can still log in credentials. What is it? What is the file extension of the config backup? So we can use Nessus maybe config backup. Nessus. Okay, so I would say that both of them, if you read it here, it gives a very good description on what it could do. Basically, what it's saying is that I could download the files, read it, and proper implementation is not being taken into consideration. So I've not done that currently, but it should be somewhat off like that. I think if do it like this and control, if we don't think I need that 2 slash right here. Yes, so you can download that file and you can read it basically. That's what it's asking. So you know that from that it's the file extension is .bak, and you can hit enter and that and get the correct answer, which directory contains example documents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search Nessus for this. Maybe for once it will work, I'm not sure. Oh boy. So we need to find here. So it should be that. So that's somewhere that we can browse to. Yes. So we could go here and we could Control V and we could browse to here. That's what it's basically telling us. So yeah. Next thing that you want to do, and the last question for this lab: what vulnerability is this application susceptible to that is associated with X-ray option? So I know that I've seen this many times. So where is it? So X-frame. So if this implementation X-frame is not implemented into the website, it is vulnerable to clickjacking. So you will see a description on clickjacking, what it is and how you can potentially mitigate it. So you can have a read on that. I have already done that. So this is the Nessus popular vulnerability scanner. Thank you guys for watching. I've already made this video as long as it could be. Please like and subscribe and comment down below on what you would like to see next. Have a great day and hope you all are doing well.